What I'm going to talk about today is imposter syndrome. Here's the definition. So, let me tell you a story. I'm going to try not to get emotional, but I know I will. So, at a very young age, I was told I was going to work at the community factory where most of my family has worked. I was told that they have good benefits. I was told that it's a good job to raise a family on, and education was really not encouraged. My family really didn't see a huge importance of going to parent-teachers conference. In fact, I don't know if they ever went to any of them. I would often have choir and band concerts, and they wouldn't take me. I'd have to have neighbors take me. So at a very young age, I realized that education really wasn't important to my family. I'm the youngest out of 8, and all I really wanted to do was to do what everybody else didn't want to do. So if you know me well enough, that totally makes sense. I remember one report card, I got an F. And just to see if my parents would realize it or not, you know, an F and an A looks a lot alike. And so I took even a different colored marker, and I colored the other side of the F to make it look like an A, and it was super obvious, and I meant it to be super obvious. And nobody ever noticed, or nobody ever really said anything. So again, the message was I was just prone to go to Maytag company like everybody else. When I was very young, I met a boy. Later, we determined that we would spend the rest of our lives together. We were very young when we met. My dogs are barking in the background. We were very young when we met. Very naive. But at the age of 17, I got pregnant. Whew. I'm going online telling my story. I never really thought much about my future, as I was really expected to go work at Maytag, and even though I knew I didn't want to, I believed that was going to be my future. So I got pregnant at 17, and I came from a long line. It's hard to be serious when my dog is drinking hot tub water. Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh, where was I? I don't even know. Hold on. Jumba, get out of there. Get out. Get out. Let's regroup. Oh, got pregnant. Okay. Parents Christian. Okay, now I'm caught up. So my parents are Christians. And when I told them I was pregnant, they said the right thing to do would be to get married. They pretty much gave me no choice, and I was a pretty obedient child. And my boyfriend and I at the time had been dating for quite a while, and so it wasn't a huge surprise that it happened, but it wasn't in my plans. Although there was a part of me that was like, well, I'm going to work at a factory, so who cares type mentality, even though I didn't want to. I had my first psychology class probably when I was 15 or 16, and I knew then I wanted to probably be in the psychology field. But I got pregnant. 4 days over 18, I ended up getting married. I was still a senior in high school. long story short, the school I went to did not approve of me getting pregnant, and they wanted to set an example out of me because I got married as well, that they didn't approve of that. So I tried to graduate midterm. I was told I could graduate midterm and that I would still have my diploma at the end, and that's what I tried to do. I'm gonna turn on some lights because it's getting dark in here. Hopefully that's a little bit better. So I graduated midterm, was pregnant, married, 18. My senior year is supposed to be one of the best years of your life. Trying to make the best of it. Then in May, my son was born. My son was born with lots of complications. He was in the NICU and he wasn't expected to live. They prepared us for the worst, but he made it. He's great. He's a fantastic adult with kids of his own now. But at the time I didn't know what to do. I was 18 with a special needs baby and a baby that I thought was going to die. I had a very awful delivery, and his first few days of life was very come and go. I didn't know how to be a mom. I sure as hell didn't know how to be a wife. And the one thing I was looking forward to was getting my son out of the NICU and to graduate. I wanted to show everybody that I could be somebody. So time came around to, pick up my invitations for graduation ceremony, get my cap and gown and all of that I paid for. And then at the very last minute, I was told I couldn't graduate due to a class. And this was a class that they told me I didn't need, that I was going to be able to graduate midterm. I was good with my credits. And so I'm not sure if it was just me, lack of trying to get information, or believing what they told me, or them trying to make more of a example out of me. I'm starting to get emotional. But I wasn't allowed to graduate. I remember sitting in the audience and watching my class graduate. Calling their names. You know how they call the names in alphabetical order. They skipped over my then married name because it started with a C. But my husband at the time was walking across the stage to a school that he transferred to. I was really proud of him. And then my maiden name started with an F. So I thought, well, maybe they'll at least say my name. Like, Tammy Foster, you still get a diploma. Mind you, I was sitting out in the audience, so I was just playing mind tricks with myself. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I told myself maybe that's what was going to happen. I think that was my way of trying to get through that situation. They went through the F. They went through the G's. And my best friend, last name, started with the G. And we started kindergarten together. And we had been best friends most of that time. And when they called her name and I wasn't the person right before her, I lost it. And mind you, I was in the audience watching my whole entire grade graduate, laughing, clapping. It was supposed to be one of the best days of my life because no one at that point that I knew of in my family had graduated. My mom dropped out when she was 17. My dad was probably a freshman or a sophomore, if I remember. He dropped out. I had a couple siblings that graduated, but I wanted to graduate. I didn't have much of a dream, but I did have that dream. And then to top it all off, people around me knew that I got kicked out of school due to being pregnant, but what I didn't say is when I left school midterm, I wasn't showing yet. I was pretty skinny back then, and I didn't really start showing till my last couple of months of pregnancy. And right before I left, there was a teacher who told an entire class that I had an abortion and that I trapped my boyfriend, then later to become my husband. I trapped him into marrying me because I couldn't get anybody else better. I didn't believe it, but I had numerous friends in that class tell me this at different times. So I'm sitting there, graduation ceremony, they're going through all the names of all the friends I've been to school with, kindergarten through 12th grade. And I was told I was going to graduate. I was told I earned enough credits, and at the last minute, like, oh, nope, you can't graduate. I pleaded and begged to at least go in the graduation exercises. I said, I will do what I need to do to get that extra credit, but please let me have my cap and gown and walk across the stage. You don't have to even hand me a piece of paper, but I wanted that moment. Sitting at graduation, and everybody kind of knew I had a baby. But again, I was skinny. My son was born about, I don't know, 4 or 5 days before graduation exercises, so he was still in the NICU. Husband was graduating, all my friends were graduating. I was sitting in the audience, and I could hear people whisper behind me saying that I was a high school dropout, that I gave up my baby for adoption, and that one person said I had an abortion, and it just, the rumors were all around me whispering as I was watching everybody in front of me graduate, and my heart was sinking. I was sitting by myself. Maybe there was somebody sitting with me, but I don't remember. And when they said the class, 1990, please stand up. I wanted to stand up, but I didn't. Weeks later, my son was able to come home, and I didn't know what I was going to do with my future. I know I just needed this one class. I was very, very angry, hormonal. I know that now. I didn't know that then. Let me get in the light a little bit more. It's hormonal. And I was depressed. I was very, very depressed. We lived in a house for a while that my parents got for us, so that was pretty special. My husband went to work full time, and we went to church one day, and we heard about this married student housing that they had in a college, like 4 to 5 hours away, Minnesota. And my husband, my then husband, wanted to go to college. Never really thought it was supposed to be for me. I thought for sure I was still going to end up at the factory. This dog is really thirsty. Stop it. Get out of there. That's not good for you. Get down. Sorry. I'm getting to the point. Remember, we're talking about imposter syndrome. So we go to college. After I earned my credit, I went and got a GED. I don't know why I didn't get a credit recovery class done, but I got a GED, and I know everybody who knows me, who I do therapy for, is really not going to know that about me. They come in my office, they see my degrees, and they know that they have to have a college degree to be a therapist. They think that my life has been paved for me. I remember talking about imposter syndrome. When I got that college class, when I got that high school credit done, and it had that piece of paper that said GED equivalency, I just cried. It wasn't what I deserved. And that's the word that I still hate so much, is the word deserved. My husband now tells me all the time that I deserve this and I deserve that, and I correct him all the time because I hate the word deserved. I didn't deserve anything. So we go to college. He takes college classes. We're away from home. I have a baby. Not knowing how to be a mom or a wife. I started college classes, which was pretty amazing. And I went and took college classes part-time for 14 years. There was times I quit because then I had another baby, so I had 3 babies. I loved being a mom. At that point, I felt like it was the only thing I was kind of decent at, but even then I didn't believe I was a good mom. I don't know if any moms really do know or believe that they're good moms. But I took 14 years to get my undergrad. Failed a couple of classes, had to retake a few classes. And I watched my then husband get his degree done. And then he started his master's degree before he even had my undergraduate done. I never thought I was going to graduate with a college degree. Finally moved back to the Iowa area, and I plugged through managing full-time work, part-time classes, managing 3 kids, their school schedules, and I finally graduated, and I opted not to do a graduation exercise. I was still not over what happened to me in high school. I didn't believe I earned it. 14 years of working on something, I didn't believe I earned it. Imposter syndrome. Later, I had somebody tell me that if you get a psychology degree, there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to have to get a master's degree to do anything with it. Please don't let anybody tell you that. But for me, that was the kick in the butt I needed to keep going. So I graduated with my undergrad in psychology and criminal justice, a BS degree. And I acted like nothing ever happened. It was another day. I don't even know if I told anybody that I graduated with my degree. I should have been proud of myself, but I wasn't, you guys. I was in an ugly place then, too. I should have been in therapy, but I wasn't. So I graduated with my psychology degree, something that I loved with my psychology class when I was a teenager. But you know what? I never went to work at Maytag. So I went and got a graduate degree. And it was really hard. I never thought I deserved it. And I worked really, really hard for my grades. School did not come easy because my whole entire life growing up, I didn't put school first. I didn't try. I was okay with C's and D's and even F's. I was totally okay with it. I never applied myself. I didn't care. I was only going to be a Maytag person. So if I can go back and do things over, I would do that again. When I got my psychology degree, I did it on purpose to make myself get a graduate degree. So fast forward, still married, 3 babies, working full time. I went and got my master's degree, and it was harder than I thought it was going to be. But I worked really, really hard on it, and I really cared about it. For the first time, I feel like I really cared about school. Tests were awful. I had a lot of test anxiety. I struggled in a lot of classes. But I tried really hard. There were so many times I wanted to quit. But that day I graduated, I did, with the help of a really good friend. I got my cap and gown and lined up for them to call my name. I was on the dean's list in graduate school. I accepted my diploma. And the rest is history, kind of. Except I never got over feeling like I'm a fraud, I'm a fake. At any point, someone's going to come in and take my degree away, take my education away. No one can take your education away. I was sitting with a client not too long ago. They were struggling in kind of the same thing I'm talking about, but totally different. If you know, you know. And I used this as an example of imposter syndrome. And I told this person, there's probably not a day that goes by that I don't look at my degrees and I think I don't deserve it. I'm a fraud. I'm a fake. I believe some degree police are going to come in and snatch my degrees off my wall away, or that the licensing board is going to see me for who I am and take away my license. I haven't been a confident therapist in a very long time until I started private practice, and that helped. But the point I'm trying to make is imposter syndrome is real. It can really do a number on you for years and years. I totally messed up my thinking and my beliefs and my self-esteem. But I'm being vulnerable with you today in a hot tub. So a few years after I graduated with my grad degree, my marriage had been failing off and on up until that point, probably because I was spending so much time working on my degree that I neglected a lot of things at home. But I'm now married to a very emotionally supportive man who tells me all the time that I deserve great things. Not that I get my self-esteem from him, but comments like that help. But I'm being vulnerable with you today in a hot tub. Some of my skeletons to tell you that's worth it. Whatever you're struggling with right now, get through it. I say this a lot. There's joy on the other side of fear. I've done some inner child work. I'm not done yet. To tell that little girl that she's capable, that she's able, that she can do anything she puts her mind to. Because I did put my mind to it, and I did get a degree, and I did graduate with a graduate's degree, to only get a couple more after that. But at times, that imposter syndrome is there, and I wrestle with it. So if you guys have ever felt that way, please let me know. I'm not alone in this. Please let me know your own struggles with this, of feeling like a fraud and a fake, and like someone's going to take something from you that you did earn, something that you deserved. Because it's a very ugly word to me. It's a very ugly word to me, and I can't stand it. So hopefully with some work with my own therapist, EMDR, I start to believe that I do deserve it. So you guys keep pushing on, keep pushing forward. Because like I said, joy is on the other side of fear. You can do it. Bye.